Thank you, Mary Cyree.
Yes, you're welcome. Dr. Revere.
Gotcha. Okay.
There's an odd fact we don't often think about. We all learn to speak well enough to get people to understand what we wanted to say at a very early age. However, most of us have spent most of our lives somewhat confused by the rules of grammar. We see specific examples of that confusion at many meetings when the Alconer says he or she is uncertain about whether certain words are actually fillers. This evening, Lloyd Smith will attempt to clear up some of that confusion with Project 3 from the demonstration talk from the Advanced Communication Series manual, Speaking to Inform. Help me introduce Lloyd Smith, Conjunction and Confusion.
Harking back to your school days, do any of you remember grammar instruction? Think how excited you were when you had grammar lessons. That really is odd because, as Jack pointed out, all of us, probably, 2, 3 years old, begin learning how to speak plenty well enough to get everyone to understand what we mean, want, and think. But none of us seem to be very confident about grammar rules. As a little background to this speech, you need to know 2 things. Actually, 3 things. First of all, the timer's a little confused, but that's okay. Anyway, I'm used to that. But anyway, the second thing we need to understand is that the so-called rules of grammar are not rules in the sense that we typically think about them. Most of the time when we think about rules as in laws. Like there's a rule that says you can't go down Wenatchee Avenue at 50 miles an hour. You can get a ticket if you try that. That is the kind of rule that tells us what to do. But there are other kind of rules too that describe things. For example, rules or laws of science just describe the way the world works. Gravity doesn't operate because a rule requires it. The rule just explains how gravity works. Right? Everybody go like this. Mm-hmm. Good. Okay, you do understand. I'm used to that look too. I taught school for 26 years. The point of this is that grammar, the so-called rules of grammar are actually preferences. They're stylistic items that people have come to expect. It's quite possible to be completely ungrammatical and have everybody get what you mean without any problem at all. It's also true that every language has a different grammar. And people who grew up speaking a different language as their native tongue, Larissa would know this, for example, have some trouble with English grammar, and vice versa. People who grew up speaking English would have trouble with other languages too. All of those grammars are equal, even though they're all different. Okay? The second thing about grammar that it's important to understand is that it evolves. It changes. The rules change as we go along. And it's just the way it is. Our language is not like English was at the time of Shakespeare or King James Version of the Bible. And that language is not like it was at the time of William Chaucer and the Canterbury Tales. Now, with that in mind, let's talk a little bit about this issue with conjunctions. A conjunction is one of the 8 parts of speech. I'm sure you could all name the 8 parts of speech, right? Everybody go like this. Okay, so I won't bother to ask you what those are. Think how much time and effort your teachers spent pounding those into your head, and you have forgotten them, right? What does that tell you about how important those are to you in your daily lives? They're not, okay? They're not important to me either. The only reason I know about them is that it's my academic area. I have a master's degree in rhetorical theory and composition study. This is the time when you say, why? But in any event, let's talk about conjunctions. Conjunctions are really simple words. Notice these are the most common. There are a whole bunch of different kinds of conjunctions, by the way. There's subordinating conjunctions and correlative conjunctions and all kinds of stuff. But coordinating conjunctions are the ones we're going to talk about tonight. Can you guys see this board here, by the way? Okay. Here are the most common coordinating conjunctions: and, but, so, or, for, nor, or yet. Now, you will notice, if you haven't been a law counter for a while, 3 of those appear on our official law counter list. And they are what, Jeff? Which 3?
And but so.
Yes, which is why I put them first. But in any event, the reason why those appear on our list is that they may be grammatically correct, but they may not. And this explains why it's so common during the law counter's report to have one of our law counters say, I heard a lot of ands, but I think some of them might have been right. You know, think how often we've heard that. It's because they were right. How do you tell the difference? Okay, first of all, a conjunction, the word conjunction, comes from 2 Latin words. Whoops, don't use that. It's the same color. You'll be able to see it. The word conjunction comes from 2 Latin words, which mean join together. Okay, and that's what coordinating conjunctions do. They join things together. Okay? And the definition of a coordinating conjunction is that it's a word that is used to connect sentence elements, words, phrases, or clauses of equal grammatical range. Okay, now what does that mean in practice? It's simple. What it means is that it's proper to use one of those words if you're using it to connect 2 things together that have an equal range. So for example, I can say ham and eggs, all right? And that's correct because those are 2 words that have equal grammatical range. It would be really awkward to speak without conjunctions if you give that some thought. Can you picture talking in the regular life without using these words? You could probably do it, but it would really seem strange. You know, it would seem like Hemingway kind of exaggerated, you know, he ate ham, he ate eggs, as opposed to saying he ate ham and eggs. And so you have to use them sometimes. Let's take a look at some examples here and see whether we can clear up the confusion when it comes to offense. Look at this first one. He hit the ball and he ran to first base. Is that correct or not?
Yes.
It sounds correct. I mean, when you just hear it, it sounds correct, whether or not you know anything about the rule. It is correct, and here's why. He hit the ball is a clause. It's got a clause. It's got a subject and a predicate. He ran to first base is another main clause. It's got a subject and a predicate for equal range, so they're connected with the word and. It's correct, right? So if you heard that in a speech, you would not mark that as a problem on the odd-counted log. What about this one? He tried to steal second, but he was thrown out. Correct or not correct?
Correct.
It just sounds correct if you think about it, whether you know anything about grammar or not, and it is. He tried to steal second is the main clause. He was thrown out as another main clause. Equal rank. It's okay to use them. She worked hard, so she got a raise. Correct or not correct?
Yeah. Correct.
Correct. There again, equal rank. She worked hard, she got a raise. Okay. What about this one? He hit the ball and he ran to first and he went what? Oh, and he eventually scored and the team won. Correct or not correct?
No.
Yeah. Now, in a strictly grammatical sense, it may be correct, but the problem is the ands are used to do something you don't want to do. They just chain together an infinite series of ideas. It's like everything in the speech can be one giant sentence if you use too many ands. So you would probably mark that one as a problem if you heard it in the speech. What about this last one? So, he hit the ball, so he ran to first base.
No.
Problem, right? It doesn't sound right. It makes you sound choppy and all that. The thing is, there's nothing of equal rank on the other side of it. Okay, so it's not being used to connect 2 things together, which is what a conjunction is for. Right? So, bottom line. Now, by the way, have you noticed I've worked in some problems here, like that last so I used, for example, should have been marked down because I started a sentence with it. Bottom line is this. If you're using one of our conjunction words, and, but, so, or, for, nor, yet, to connect together 2 ideas or 2 clauses, phrases, whatever of equal rank, they're fine. You don't mark them on our sheet, right? But if you're using them, there's one, by the way, did you notice I started a sentence with that and I shouldn't do it. If you're using one of those to just start a sentence, to chain together an infinite series of ideas, something like that, it is a problem and you should mark it, okay? My advice, if you're the I-counter, would be if it sounds okay, don't mark it down. The odds are it is okay if it actually sounds okay to your ears, regardless of what any rule might say. Mr. Toastmaster, we'll sit here for a minute. Wake up, Jack. I'm the Toastmaster.
I think
I won't feel so bad now. Hey, Jack and I together are twice as old as any three of you.
So where were we?